goes a little something like.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode 9 of Ballrooms and Bachelors. I'm Camille.
I'm Matthew.
And today we are going to talk a little bit about our dance this past week, some other things that we've got going on. The Dancing with the Stars promos have been released. The Bachelor in Paradise cast announcement has been released. We'll just touch on that briefly. And then get into the Bachelorettes episode recap, which is, of course, the last hometown date and the men tell all. So I wasn't really at the dance studio much this past week because during last week's episode, I know I was mentioning how I'm taking a break for a few weeks. I've been, working. I actually have some days off from work now, and I went to Cape May over the last weekend for just like 2 days, just to relax. So my break is going well so far. I just want to mentally regroup. I'm not still in school, but I think I'm still like wired into that whole like new school year mentality. So I always like taking a break at this time of the year to kind of just like refocus myself. But yeah, so that's what I've got going on.
So yeah, with me, I was back at the studio this week, which was awesome. I missed it. Like I said, I took kind of like a week break last week, and it was so good to be back. And so I had my first private lesson in quite a while, actually, probably like 3.5 weeks. So it's crazy to think that I haven't had a private lesson in that long, but it was great to get back. So yeah, my instructor Elena and I have been getting ready for December, which is like really, really exciting, like I've talked to you about. And actually last night when I was at the studio, she had told me that she's gotten like a lot of the prices and a lot of like the details for December as well, which is like so awesome because like now we can actually start planning the specific details for the competition and like what we're going to do in terms of like travel and stuff like that. So that's going to be really, really exciting. I'm so excited about it. And like I had mentioned on the one or two episodes before this episode, my instructor Elena and I, with your instructor Yuri, because he actually helped her with my Jive routine. We worked on the basic for the Jive in our private lesson on Monday, and then I was like, I'm curious to see what the whole routine's like. Can I see it? And then she showed me the video of her and Yuri dancing it, and it looks so awesome. I'm like, I couldn't stop smiling looking at it. So I'm like really excited to like start performing it. Jive is definitely hard because of how fast it is, but I'm like, it's really energetic and just a lot of fun and high energy. So I'm excited to do that. And then besides my private lesson, like I said, we've had just the group classes. So we had the salsa class last night, which was a lot of fun. Not many people were there, so it was like, it's cool when like, especially with like salsa classes like that, when there's like a lot going on and stuff like that. I find it easier for me to like lead when there's like less people, because then it's like because like that one class like we talked about a few episodes ago where we had 15-20 people, we were just like going through each group. There's so many, and it was like we just really had to like, because like we've talked about a lot in our classes that everybody leads and follows differently, so you have to kind of get used to how everybody in my case follows me with me leading, and everybody has to get used to me the way I lead, because I'm sure it's different for everybody. But so we had group classes this week, and we, like I said, we were talking about last week, we have our formation dance that we're doing in November, which is exciting, and we don't really want to give too much away just because it's kind of going to be a surprise to everybody, but we've been really, really working hard on that, and that's going to be an exciting thing. I'm really excited to see how that comes together, and we're actually going to like start as of like probably the next few weeks actually like having rehearsals for it, which is going to be like so cool. And I think
I got that text message today, and I was doing like IT tech support for Maura, that's doing the group chat with sending the videos to people so people can catch up with choreography. So like I'm not there, but I'm still there in spirit.
You're still there. You're still being,
I'm still like, I'm getting all these texts today. I'm like, please help me with this. Shout out to Maura. Thank you for organizing that for us.
Thank you so much, Maura. Yeah, she came up with a group chat for us so we can like see all the rehearsal videos that we've done in class and stuff like that. But that's going to be an amazing thing. I'm excited to see what we're doing for it, because it's like it's not all of the people from Glen Rock, it's like some of the students that want to do it, and then most of our instructors as well. So it's going to be really cool to see how that ends up coming about. And there's some new elements that we've like started to add to it as well, which I'm excited to see how that goes. So like, long story short, I think that's going to be really fun. And then I know we have probably like a party coming up next month as well, like we usually do. And that's pretty much it. Just getting back in the groove of things with my private lessons and getting ready for December, and then the group classes as usual. So that's pretty much been my dance kind of like week so far.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So yes, and I actually have to, that reminds me, I have to put all of the dance classes and parties in my schedule for September. I
like
got the
it,
email,
yeah.
but I haven't sat down to do it yet. But okay, yeah. So next thing, I know that Dancing with the Stars, they started putting more promos on Instagram. So we've been sharing that on the stories. And it does look like the pros are about to meet their celebrity partners very soon. Because I know Alan always does this post that he kind of is just like, which way should I greet my partner? And he posted that. I saw it today. I shared it before we joined on this. And I believe they're doing the cast announcement on September 8th on Disney Plus Day, which we had discussed in a previous episode. But yeah, so looking forward to that. There's been more and more things that I've seen with that.
Yes.
And any other things that you've seen that I haven't?
I was just about to say that what you were saying is I'm not sure, but from what I've seen from like some of the pros, I think some of the pros actually have already met their partners from what I've seen. I don't know if it's all of them, but like I've seen like Whitney and a few other the pros like that said like, oh, I just met my partner and it was so awesome.
Oh, okay.
I'm not saying who it is, so maybe some of them met them, maybe some of them haven't. It's like
maybe Alan just posted it later, or
I'm behind.
Maybe he posted it.
But yeah, I'm really excited about it. I'm really interested to see how the Disney Plus thing works, because like I said, it's like the first kind of like live show on a streaming service platform, which is going to be really interesting to see how that goes. And I'm excited to see it back. And like they posted the pros list already. At least I've seen it on like some like Dancing with the Stars fan pages and stuff like that. And we're actually going to have some new pros this year, which is really, really going to be exciting, which is really cool. And then we're going to have some new troop members as well, which is going to be awesome. And so that's going to be exciting to see some new people, some new pros and everything like that. So I think that's going to be really cool. I'm still kind of sour. I feel so kind of sour about it's not a 2-season series anymore, like 2-season-a-year series.
Yeah.
I missed the spring and fall season. I always look forward to, like I said, we've talked about it in like the first episode that we've pretty much been watching the show since the beginning. And I love that aspect where it was like they had the spring season and then the fall season. So like there was only one break in the summer, but we always had 2 seasons a year. And I do really miss that. I don't think they've done that for quite a while now. I think probably at least 4 or 5 years at this point, but I've missed that. But I'm excited for it regardless. I definitely have missed the show. And I think having it 1 season a year now makes me just more anticipated for it.
Well, yeah, because I know in 2019 into 2020, they did the Dancing with the Stars tour, and they were supposed to do, I forgot if I mentioned this on the podcast, but I think, okay, they were supposed to do this big thing that they were going to go to like the Atlantis resort in the Bahamas and do this whole like weekend of all of the Dancing with the Stars pros. And I like my friend Rebecca and I were like, oh my gosh, we absolutely need to go to this. So we were like getting ready to plan it, and then the world shut down. I mean, I don't know if they'll ever redo anything like that, but they did have the Dancing with the Stars tour, and I'm assuming maybe they want to try to do that more, like more regularly moving forward. So it's kind of like if they do the show in the fall and then they do that in the spring and then they have different things throughout the year. But I do miss having it multiple times a year. So I don't know if any of that will change.
Hopefully they'll bring it like, and this is actually something that I know that's actually happening from what I've seen, is that just kind of like a production note on the show, is that one of the old executive producers / showrunners that was like part of like the first season through like season 20, like 22 or something like that.
I lost count.
I know it's so long. I think he left like 2018, 2017, something like that. But he was like one of the original, like I think he was like the original showrunner. Like when the show first started. He's back this season, and so I've been seeing a lot of Dancing with the Stars fans are like, oh, hopefully this means maybe they'll make some changes of like what they had back in the day, kind of like to the show now, because he's back in charge of like production stuff like that. So maybe they'll just do something like that. And I know, because like you were saying, I've gone to a lot of the Dancing with the Stars tours as well, and they're so much fun. They used to usually do it like winter and summer tour. They used to do it twice like a year, or like they used to like December through like March, and then like a July through like September tour, and then the season would start. So I've seen them do that. So hopefully they'll come back with the tour again, because the tours are always really fun. I definitely go to them again whenever they start.
The baby shark dance was the best one of 2020.
Exactly. Right. I agree.
Maybe I gotta make my list again of like the things I need to share on the page. Baby shark dance. We'll see. Get my pen out. I'm gonna write it down.
You know what? Be prepared about it. Yeah, let's go.
I just people need to see it. Okay. Anyway.
It's not missed content for sure. You cannot miss that.
yeah, so they also announced the other day the first, I guess, I don't know, Ashley and I was saying that I guess they're calling it the first sand of like the first group of people to arrive in paradise for Bachelor in Paradise. That list is enormous, and Matthew and I have not had a chance to go through that. So we have some different ideas about what we might do for like talking about the Bachelor in Paradise cast announcement, the Dancing with the Stars cast announcement. So that will probably be after September 8th. So stay tuned. We'll still have another podcast episode before then. So
right.
we'll announce that then.
Exactly. But yeah, that's really a lot to look forward to with those two shows.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see, like we were talking about the last few episodes ago, how like we have that much TV to watch during the week because like we're ending Bachelorette season and then going right into these two shows at the same time. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes, because just watching one show has been like catching up on it every week, and to record the podcast to recap it has been really interesting. So for two shows, it's going to be interesting, but I'm really excited about it.
And if you guys have been listening to the full episode for the past few episodes, thank you for hanging in there, because I know they've been super long. So we're just like, how long are they going to be when we have all of this stuff to recap? But yeah, I think we'll see. We're about to launch into our next part of the episode now, talking about the Bachelorettes. So we'll see how long today's episode might be. So, all right. Did you have anything else you wanted to? I mean, we could talk a little bit more about the Bachelor in Paradise promo at the end of the Bachelorettes recap. So unless
because
you have anything else.
It comes into play during the episode, so we can just when it's in my notes, I can just like when the time comes and when it's in my notes, I can be like, let's talk about it then.
Okay, so, awesome.
All right. You want to kick it off?
Yes. So, Aven and Rachel's hometown, the only hometown we hadn't seen yet, they went to Salem, Massachusetts, and I did notice that Aven posted on Instagram, I forgot if it was today or yesterday. He did say something that he's not from Salem, he's from another town or city that's like right near it. And on top of it, somebody did take a Photoshop of him with the Sanderson sisters from Hocus Pocus and put like a little picture of him as a kid in there. And he was like, you guys are wild for doing this. So just thought I would say that. But they were in, I guess, approximately around Salem, Massachusetts. And I guess what I also noticed was they did say he's in San Diego right now. Like, I guess that's where he lives. So, but this is where he grew up. Rachel was clearly nervous. Yes. I mean, I would be a little traumatized from the date with Tina's parents as well. And I thought it was so funny because they kept showing the previews of that table getting knocked over. And like, I thought the beginning of the date was fine with all the stuff until they knocked the table over. Then it was like all hell broke loose. But I mean, it was generally fine. It wasn't cursed. Like they're just clickbait. But I just thought the woman's accent, it was just very funny.
It was very funny. I agree.
And I'm just like, I just feel like it adds to the whole character of the whole thing. But
it does, exactly. It was hilarious.
Yeah. That's all I had about the day portion. I just thought it was fine. Like I like Aven for her. I think we're just kind of I know like you and I last week were so much focusing on like, oh, we love Zach for Rachel, but I do also see her potentially being with Aven.
I too.
Yeah. Did you have anything about the day?
Yeah, I had a few things. I thought it was funny how like in the like day portion when they were walking around and going to this like witch place and everything like that, they were playing like Halloween music the whole time, or like scary haunted house music. That was something I noticed. I thought it was really funny. It just fit the whole mood of the whole like segment. I thought it was funny. Just like Zach's day, Aven had said, well, this is at the end, so I can get to that. But yeah, I thought it was fine. I do like Aven for Rachel, like you had said. I think they go well together. And it was funny because, like you said, with the table falling over, the shot they showed before they showed the shot of the table going over, it didn't seem like they knocked it over or anything. It just seemed like it kind of like fell over, and it was like I don't know if that added to the whole like, oh, it's haunted or whatever thing, but like it was just so weird to me. They just like made one little move and then the whole table fell over. I just love how they were like, oh, sorry, and then they like left, like bye. That was really funny. Like you said, I really thought the accent was really funny, and I thought that was interesting, and I felt like they handled the day portion of it very well, because I feel like people that probably don't do that often, it's kind of like a unnatural thing for them to like have people read them spells and stuff like that and everything. So they seem to be having a good time, and like I said, I think that the connection is really good. So I do like him a lot.
Yeah, and so night portion I thought was good. It was crazy. That was the first time his parents were in the same room in 6 years, he said.
I know, and it wasn't even at a house either, which makes sense because like they said they haven't been together for a while.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Well, because not for nothing, if they don't, I don't. Well, I mean, I guess they could have still filmed it in a house, but I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it was just easier.
Yeah, they got the restaurant to themselves, so that's good.
Or at least like that portion of the restaurant or whatever. But
yeah.
And I thought it was good though, because like, his dad had the same concerns as Tino's dad,
Right.
but he clearly handled it like so much better.
I know.
And it was just like, of course he has those concerns. Like this is the stuff
Right.
we talked about in last week's episode too. But I thought her conversation with both of the parents seemed to go well. They seemed positive. They seemed like they were even able to put their differences aside and not like let that alter the mood of the evening. And I thought it was very positive overall.
Right.
I didn't feel like an amazing sense of like, this is the family she fits.
Yeah.
But didn't. I think that was just more of my perception as a viewer than like anything else. I think it was just like seeing how she was with Zach's family. I thought it was very like clear.
Yeah.
Oh, she fits like well with this group. I think that was the main thing.
I agree. I agree. I thought it was interesting, especially like going back to what you were saying with how especially she was so nervous coming into this date, especially because of excuse me, how the whole date with Tino went and his family. And it was interesting because I don't know how like how soon after all these dates they film or how close together they film them, but she kept saying, oh, yesterday with Tyler when she broke up with him, she kept saying yesterday when she got to California to meet Tino's family. So I didn't know how that was supposed to go, and I thought it was really interesting. Or I just didn't know how like if they.
I was thinking about that too.
Yeah.
Well, the way they aired it last week, because then I was thinking back and I'm like, so Zach and Tino were both in California. Tyler's in New Jersey and Aven's in Massachusetts. So I'm like, they definitely didn't
fly
film
back
it.
and forth. Yeah.
No, it probably was like Zach, Tino, Tyler, Aven.
Then yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah. I just didn't know. Yeah.
That would also provide a little more context about like why she was nervous about Tyler's family. Right. Because if she went to see Tyler's family right after family, like if I'm getting weirded out right now, like what's going to happen? I don't think she would have had the same reaction, but it gives a little more context of maybe why she kind of had more of that reaction with Tyler's family. But because then I was thinking, I'm like, Gabby, everybody was the East Coast because
it was East Coast. It was Florida,
New Jersey,
yeah, all these.
Oh, in New Orleans.
New Orleans, that's like central. Yeah,
but it's like more like east.
It's still like eastern part of the country. Yeah,
where like Rachel's like 1 and 1.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I didn't know how that was because she kept saying, oh, yesterday when I like met with Tino, and she kept saying that for all the dates. I wasn't sure if like they fly her one day and then like she starts filming the next day for the next hometown.
That's what I was also thinking about too. So you know how like sometimes they were filming they were meeting the family during the morning portion or the day portion.
Yeah.
If camera crews, because not nothing, my hunch is you need more people of like the camera crews to be available for the part with the family, because they've got to like prep them, mic them up, get them set up, like have all the different things being filmed at the same time. There's probably simultaneous conversations. You need more people. And whereas the day portion or the date portion of the hometown, they kind of just might have like 1 or 2 camera people following around. Like producer or whatever. Maybe it's more than 1 or 2, but I think
I know what you mean.
Proportionally. So I'm like wondering, did they have like an A crew and a B crew or something and then keep sending them around because they were like close enough that they're like maybe like take care of the family during the day so you guys can get on the plane to get to the whatever the next destination is for whoever. So then you start setting them. I'm wondering. I mean, I'd really have to do some like sit down and calculate it out.
Being a fan of the show for so long and seeing in the credits, they seem like when this comes up as camera operators, there's like 30 people on the credits. So they probably have like tons of people for the show. So they have to split them up.
They had to split them up.
Like, that makes sense.
Well, because even like when Rachel was with Tyler and then Gabby was with Eric, they probably could have both come into like Newark airport or like Philadelphia or something and
Yeah.
like split them, because when you think about it, Eric, they met the family during the day, and Rachel, she was supposed to meet Tyler's family at night, so it was like flip-flopped, and I'm like, what,
Exactly
did
right.
they
Yeah, I
take a
know.
plane together? Like, were they
No,
there
I
at the
know.
same
I don't know.
time?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
But
I'd
yeah,
love to see an itinerary, but
I'd
anyway,
love to see that. That'd be really interesting.
that's some interesting
But yeah,
details,
going back to Aven's date,
yeah.
yeah, again, I thought that the parents really liked Rachel, which I thought was really
Mhm.
awesome. I thought it was interesting, like you said, his family had the same concerns as Tino's family, but they obviously handled it way better because like even Rachel, or even the dad asked Rachel and said, like, if you could stay here right now, like, could you have a future with Aven? And like she gave like a really good answer, and so obviously there's other people here, but I definitely, we've talked about having like a future after this. I can't see a future with him after this. And like the dad could have like acted like, if it was like the Tino thing, he could have like been like, oh, I don't accept that. I like that's like not a good answer.
Yeah.
But then like he really seems like really happy about that answer, and it like seemed really just like, again, just
Yeah.
really seemed to like her and everything. And he had even said to Aven when they were talking that, oh, she's great and do everything you have to do to keep her because she's awesome and everything like that. So I thought that the parents really liked her and everything like that. That was awesome. And obviously Rachel said that she was really nervous. She said she was probably more nervous to meet the mom, which I thought was interesting. I guess
Yeah.
just that maybe she had heard like he had talked about with Rachel previously, the previous week, how like both his parents, this was kind of the first time he brought someone back to both of them that they would approve. So, and the last two, they both didn't approve one of each. So I guess that's why,
Yeah.
and that makes sense why she'd be nervous, but I thought it went well, and I'm so very happy.
Yeah. It sounded like those past situations were very particular to those people. So I was like, Rachel, you
Right.
probably don't need to worry about anything.
Yeah, that's what I thought so too. It was just like the specifics of those people. You're right. Yeah.
He didn't know what had happened with Tino, so it was just like, oh my gosh, Aven, don't keep telling her all this. You're gonna
No, I
freak her
know.
out.
Because like she's like,
Oh,
oh, she doesn't need to hear any more doubt at all.
yeah. And then they didn't do a rose ceremony, but then like, I don't know, Jesse Palmer's like, you can go on to abc.com to see the
Yeah, I
rose
didn't even
ceremony.
watch it, but I'll watch it after we're done recording this. But I didn't see it. But yeah, you're right. It was
I
on
didn't
the
look it
air
up.
that they saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get back to that later because I know people weren't making comments.
Just long story
online.
short, they all stayed. So
Yeah, so they all stayed. Well, because I think at that rate, it's like Gabby only had the 3 guys, and Rachel got rid of Tyler at the hometown. Like she
yeah,
just
so it was like
left
3
him,
and 3.
so.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, just like
Um,
regular fantasy suite number. Yeah,
So okay,
that was pretty much it. Yeah.
until all.
Yep. So
2 initial things that they had, like when they were saying like, we have the live studio audience here, but let's watch Aven and Rachel's date first. Somebody had a Justice for Rambo sign.
I saw that too. And then another person said Rambo deserves better, like later in the episode. I thought that was really funny. And at first, I don't know, because obviously the Men Tell All is different than AFR, where AFR is live and Men Tell All is edited. And I don't know if like, I am like convinced, because it's every Men Tell All I've noticed this, that like probably all the signs are probably like given by production to these people, and then because it's so obvious, because they'll show and a clip that's like really like obviously edited of the person handing it up, and then it goes back to the wide shot of the whole audience with nobody holding a sign. So like that's what I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for real. I think. Oh my gosh. And then there was some guy in the front with a wig.
I had no idea.
Like,
that was really funny. I don't know what he was doing, and he like started like acting like he was gonna punch Hayden and stuff like that. That was funny.
Unless it was just, I was so confused, because then you're wondering, was it one of the guys that was like one of the actors that was there in a wig, and then I didn't realize it, but I don't know. Who knows?
I have no idea what that was supposed to be. I agree. I don't know.
But it's like, don't do that if you're not going to have like a thing of like, oh, we're priming for this, because then it just seems like, is this just some rando in the audience?
Right.
Not
Yeah.
Rambo, Rando, you know.
Yeah. Right.
I should say this, but okay, so I don't know. The next note I had was about Jacob.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And I guess it was weird because they kind of like went through all the guys, and then they went through all the guys again with the girls there. So I was like, I think maybe, I don't know, we'll just try to go anything related to Jacob, and then we'll go like by person. I think so, like Jacob, I think both his apology earlier on and
to Gabby.
Yeah, and to Gabby. I do genuinely feel like he meant what he said.
Too, yeah,
why did my other note disappear? Where did it go? Oh yeah, I do think he's truly apologetic, and I think
yeah,
Gabby also accepted the apology, because I think the biggest thing is it's like the guys sometimes can like, when the girls do, they like act a fool on TV, and then it's like you have to try to get to this point where you're either at the men tell all, women tell all after the final rose situation, and it's like, do they genuinely seem like they realize that they messed up?
Right.
And I personally think that Jacob did. I think he saw what he said, because
Yeah.
I think I don't know, I don't think he meant it intentionally with like bad intentions. What he said, he just like totally did not know how to express it, and it came across like totally wrong. So I think he saw it.
Yeah, I think so too, right?
Saw
And
it.
and
So-
that's what he said that oh, after watching it back, I realized that like I needed to own up to what I had said and realized it was
Yeah.
wrong and stuff like that. So I agree. I think he was totally like genuinely apologetic.
Yeah, so we need like a stamp like forgiven.
Forgiven, yeah. I know.
Like Jacob, forgiven. Roby.
Oh, that's about to say. Here we go.
You
That
go.
was the next thing I was going to say. We got blonde-haired Roby now, and we also got. I wrote down. It's later in my notes, but I got outspoken Roby too, because he was really outspoken and like really trying to like say, hey, like you did this wrong. And I love how Ethan was like, dude, you're only there for 4 hours for a reason. I thought that was so funny.
I mean, look, I don't want to feel like he can't say anything or whatever, or like mock the guy, but it's like, stop talking.
Yeah, I know.
You came, you dyed your hair, you look ridiculous, like trying to speak up about all these topics. You weren't even there. And it cracks me up because I know that the mental all, they've got to film it they film it for a lot longer than that. There's a lot that gets cut. But
Yeah.
they made sure they put that part just of Ethan putting Roby in his place.
Exactly,
And I'm like,
right.
here you go. This guy's getting more airtime than some of these people that were there longer. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to like hate the guy, but it's like, are you kidding me? Like the twins
Oh, I
didn't
know.
even come.
No, they didn't even come, and then
Hayden didn't come.
Ethan
Chris didn't come.
Yeah, Chris didn't come. Yeah, Hayden didn't come. I thought it was funny though. 'cause
Understandably. But
Understandably. The funny thing was about the Hayden situation, we'll get to the details of it later, but I thought it was so funny how like they had the camera shot of like going up to his like trailer door, kind of teasing that he might show up. But then I was like, there's no way he's coming. Like I knew that was like never gonna happen. I just thought that was so funny. I love how like every single time they mentioned his name, everybody booed. I thought that was funny too.
yeah. And I thought, so like Chris didn't show up. I mean, I felt like Alec made that comment and he kind of like seemed like he wanted his moment, but like,
Right.
I think it was important. He said something, Spencer and Nate said something, and I thought that was fair about what Chris said. It was just like what Chris had said about the whole stuff with the fantasy suites, like I'm like week
Just so
1,
strange.
2.
Well,
like episode 1 or 2, so like the first few days, it wasn't even like the second week. That was just totally weird. They were totally on point with the things that they said.
I know they were talking about, again, it was kind of all sparsed out, but they were talking about how like Jessica had asked them what it was like meeting 2 bachelorettes and stuff like that. And I thought the interesting thing was they all had like different answers, which makes sense.
Yeah.
They were all like, oh, obviously the first 2 weeks were like really hard. And we were just like really trying to figure out who we wanted to go with. And other people were saying, oh, I knew from like the first day, this is who I wanted to go with, Gabby or Rachel. And I thought that was really interesting too. But yeah, so I agree.
Yeah, and I think I mean, and then we'll get to Logan. I was just with Hayden, I think the only thing that came up with Hayden then at that point was like, obviously the guys made the comments about what Hayden said, and like I just wish that they were a little more sensitive about the dog, because like it was clearly a rough situation. I mean, I think the part when they were like, yeah, why'd you torture him and take his toy away? Yeah, I agree with that part. But like, I think there was, I don't remember. Yeah, but I don't know, or whatever. I think the biggest thing is it was just like, look, the dog is sick. Yeah. You know, I think that's the point. It's like, I just wish people were more sensitive about it, because like, yeah, I don't like the way he carried himself. I don't like what he said.
Yeah.
You know, and just because Gabby might have described herself as rough around the edges, I don't think that totally gives you license to just
whatever you want, right?
Well, he made the point when he was like, well, if she just didn't want people describing that, she shouldn't describe herself that way, which like I agree with that, but that's like a wrong way of justifying his statement. Like that was and that was all in the past. I kind of wish he was there just so he could have cleared it up, but like the fact that he didn't show up, I think says everything it needs to. Did you see clips of him in Paradise? I thought I did.
I think I did too. Yes, I did see him at the end. So that's gonna be a whole other thing. What I was saying was I thought it was really funny. Like you were saying, it was bad about the whole like taking the dog toy to Europe and stuff like that. But the random guy in the audience had the toy with him, or a dog toy with him.
That's what I'm saying. I thought it was him.
Yeah,
I was like, that's not him.
Like I don't know. Like I was like so weird, and like that was like obviously they knew what was like the production team knew what was happening because they kept showing him, but I just
Yeah.
don't know what it was. So yeah, that was really strange. But yeah,
Who
thank
knows?
you. I did see him in Paradise from what I saw.
I don't know. We'll see. Like all the Paradise
It's
people.
gonna be crazy.
themselves.
Yeah, I know.
Logan
Yeah,
got
Logan.
so much time, except they never talked about the whole thing with COVID.
Oh, I know. They did again. I don't know. Let's just go. That goes unanswered, I guess.
My mom and I got to watch it live on Monday together, and so like Logan was talking, and there was some lady in the audience that made this like such an obnoxious face. I mean, it was hilarious, but she was like about what he said.
Oh yeah.
My mom and I just were like, "What the heck?" I do think Logan's apology was fair about I think the thing is that he doesn't apologize for switching. He just wishes it went more smoothly, which I think it's fair because
I think so too.
I think I just wish he did also make the decision sooner because like there was some of it of like the why did you accept the rose and not say anything,
Right.
and he was like he did say like I was waiting for the perfect moment and like I didn't get the perfect moment, and I think part of that's true, but when you
Yeah.
also see someone like Meatball say no and then come back, and then
Right.
they tried to call him out on that, and I'm like,
I
okay,
know. That was really weird.
but like, listen, even I was saying stuff about it, but like clearly it worked itself out and it was fine, you know. I do think Logan should have just from that rose ceremony been more upfront about it, like
Yeah, I
from the
agree.
get-go. But
I don't think there was any like I don't think
yeah.
he had any bad intention over that decision. Like I don't think he was like, oh, I'm gonna like do this so the other guys don't get time. I don't think that was his intent.
No.
I think it was just more that like he just in the moment, it was just hard to figure out what he wanted to do in the moment. But yeah, I agree. I think what he had said was definitely genuine, and he probably just should have done that stuff earlier when he knew. But I don't think there was any like malicious intent for the other guys behind it.
No, that's the same thing. And I think like, you know, I think the girls handled the conversation with Logan well. And I do think as an extra part of that, I think it was good that Rachel apologized to the guys for canceling the date because
That was
like
nice.
I mean, I'm not
Other them.
yeah, I mean it's like I don't want to be like shaming her for being upset, but like I think you know, that was a point in time where I think that it was justified for them to be upset with her. So I think it was good that like once she saw it in hindsight, she apologized for that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I think everything with Logan, they try to like make it a bigger deal. Clearly he's in Paradise too. That's like a thing
So
that
that's
he's showing.
He'll be there.
So I think it was funny though, because like everybody was just like, did Logan have COVID? Like there were these weird clips that were showing that it's like you need to pack your bags and leave. And I think so like Spencer was on the Almost Famous podcast with Ben and Ashley I, and I think they were like asking him, did Logan have COVID? And he's like, all of these conspiracy theories everybody's making me question myself, did he have COVID? But he was like, I'm pretty sure he did, because we were all concerned because it was like the day of the date in Amsterdam with the woman there, and Spencer's like, you know, Gabby's like kissing all of us, so like once they found out he had it, they're probably like, we all had it. So he's like, I have no idea how we all didn't get it, but
yeah,
he was like, yeah, he had it, like that's what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that was
interesting, right?
Clearly, at least it looks like he recovered, so that's great. For Logan too. So,
Yep.
Oh my gosh, the surprise that they kept typing up.
Oh my gosh, here we go.
I didn't think it was going to be about a free cruise. I'm thinking that I was thinking it was going to be something else.
Me too, but then again, the way that they like were making it seem like it was a big deal, I was like, make it seem like it was a big deal. I kind of knew it wasn't going to be a big deal. I was just like, they're hyping this up so much to be like, and I love how Jesse's like inflection of how he like said this. He was like, it's going to change your lives forever. And I thought that was so funny. And they're really like kicking, like are really promoting this virgin thing, like the virgin promotion.
Well,
they let them shoot on their cruise. So that makes sense, obvious reasons.
I have some theories of this.
You do?
Well, okay, so I know I wanted to talk about Nate's thing because that was next on my notes, but okay, this will come full circle with the whole stuff with the cruise. So the Bachelor in Paradise preview was after that, and they had who do they have? Andrew, Serene, Genevieve and Victoria.
Yeah.
I think I'm remembering everybody. Okay. Yeah. So they had them on to talk about Bachelor in Paradise. They did the previews, which I was like, oh my God, this is going to look crazy. But afterwards, Andrew Spencer from Katie's season had posted on Instagram a picture, and it was him with the ladies, and he was just like, we were just on the Men Tell All episode to announce that Greg Grippo's the next Bachelor. Like, so I mean, obviously not true, or well, at least as of now, not true. And I was dying. I literally went on the post, and I was like Andrew with the clickbait caption, and I think Greg had even commented, and he was just like, I'm literally sitting here eating a bag of chips watching this. And I just think that it was just Andrew just totally wanted to play up that whole thing, because it was like, it will change your lives forever. So it's like, some people were like, the fact that I watched the episode and was still fooled by your caption, that I just thought it was funny how they tied that all together.
Exactly. And I thought it was hilarious where like he was like, first, like, let's get some champagne, and then he was like, but first let's go on the Virgin app and like order it, and then like he like pressed the thing, and then he was like, okay. But then he said the whole announcement with the whole cruise thing. I thought that was just so funny how that ended up. They played that up. I thought that was really funny, but I knew it was not anything special just because of how much they were talking about it. So that was really funny.
And speaking of Jesse Palmer too, they had they have all the Bachelor casting ads, and the one that they had, and Jesse Palmer was like, remember last Valentine's Day? It was bad, wasn't it?
Yeah. He's been doing this since the beginning. Like I said, the one where he says your boyfriend's a loser, dump his ass thing. Like he's been doing it every single week. I don't know what what they were thinking and thinking. Like, it's funny, but I just don't know what the change up was for.
I don't know. It's like he's almost got me convinced that I should apply, but I really, I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, okay. So before we get into Nate, I know you were telling me there was another thing with signs you wanted to mention.
Yeah, it was so funny. So it was at the beginning of the episode when Jesse Palmer walked out, and the sign that this woman was holding that said, "Speak French to me, Jesse Palmer." I thought that was so funny. It was just absolutely hilarious. I guess obviously going back to him speaking French, not to French, but I thought that was hilarious. The signs that they come up with for these things are really hilarious.
So okay, so before the ladies came out, there was the one other serious topic, and then we'll also talk about a little more about the Bachelor in Paradise preview.
Right.
I just had to tie the whole cruise ship thing to Andrew's post. It was
exactly.
hilarious. So Nate came out, and they talked about like a lot of his experience on the season, and then Jesse brought up the stuff of all the allegations of dating multiple women and not telling them about his child and this and that and all this, and this is, I had been waiting for this. I think, we had both been waiting to see what he said, because I think this is an easier time to address it appropriately, and more formally. I can't talk anyway, but I do feel like, and it could have been longer than the part that they aired, but in few words, he was able to own up to his past. And basically acknowledge that to like an extent these allegations were true. Mm-hmm. But he owned up to it and apologized about it, and just like was indicating, like trying to just express that everything with Gabby was real, and there wasn't, that was like a prior version of him that had done those things, and this, like, moving forward, he was more it's not the same person. He wasn't the same person. And I have a lot of respect for him, because I think it's hard because, we always get so judgmental. And I know there's been a lot of things of thinking like, could he be the next Bachelor? And a lot of people being very divided on this of, I absolutely want him to be, or I absolutely don't want him to be. But I think the most important thing is, it's like, look, a lot of people might have messy dating history and this and that. And just in life, we do a lot of things that we don't, like a little bit down the line, we don't really look at as something that was great. We can own up to our mistakes. So I have a lot of respect for him, and I think he faced it head on, and even though like maybe at first he kind of was a little bit, like, in the initial reactions on social media seemed a little bit more like hands off, I think this was the right time to say it and own up to it. So
yeah, I agree. I thought it was probably better, and I don't know if it's a contractual thing or just like what the show is, because a lot of times, especially like going back to like other allegations that other people in the show have kind of been like confronted with and stuff like that, a lot of times it comes out after the season or on one of the tell-alls, just because I just feel like you said, if they come up with a statement on social media, that can just cause a lot more like back and forth, and like just not a lot of like groundedness, I guess you could say, in it. And so I definitely agree. I think this was the best kind of like formal way that he could come about it and go about it. I just thought his response was really good. And like I had said, when the allegations first came out, like I said, I had talked about how I listened to a few podcasts, and they said we don't know what had happened. We got to just wait till he comes out and says something about it. But maybe it was a situation where he didn't feel like he could trust the person that he was dating to introduce his daughter to, and so it seemed like that was the situation. It seemed like it was at least something like that.
It was. I think he was kind of just like, he knew his dating life was not, like, it was kind of tumultuous,
right?
So he wanted to protect her from that, and
Right.
I guess
That is
also
disrespectful.
because he knew he wasn't, like, I say like should, but whatever. If he was dating two women for an extended period of time at the same time,
Right.
like, that's also, he might have also just like felt some shame in doing that, and also didn't want to bring his daughter into the picture too, because then because then it's like, Dad, who are these women? Like, I think it was a little bit of both. I think it's not so much about, maybe not him trusting the women, but just knowing that it wasn't the right environment for her.
Yeah, right.
So, like,
time, right.
Yeah, I think in hindsight, like, what he was acknowledging was he felt like he did wrong by, maybe not by his kid. I think it was proper for him to shield her from it, but like, if he was in a relationship, or at least some sort of situationship with these women for a longer period of time, that they probably felt like they should have known, and they didn't.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I think it's just like, whichever, everybody has a different path, so I think it was good.
I think so too, and it just really kind of, especially when Gabby and Rachel came out, I know we'll talk about that more at length in a little bit, but when they came out and she was talking to Nate, Gabby was, and just seeing how Nate talked about Gabby when Jesse had said, oh hey, like, was this stuff real, and how was the relationship and stuff like that, like watching this back and everything like that. And it just kind of like reaffirmed my thought that when we were talking about when the whole breakup in Amsterdam had happened, that if the whole like Gabby not really being ready to be a mom, or that whole thing was just like a concern, I really truly feel like she would have picked him. I feel like the connection, I feel like the connection they had, and just the bond that they had is way stronger than any other one that Gabby has with the remaining guys now.
At least how they showed it.
At least what they showed and showed to be. I really feel like, again, if everything kind of aligned perfectly for them, I think she would have picked him. That's my kind of thought. But I thought that conversation was really good, and I do have a lot of respect for him too. I've always liked him. I think he's really, really cool.
Yeah, I honestly don't think that the franchise might go in the direction of picking him as a Bachelor. I don't know how much they even might have had this not even come out. I mean, I think maybe, but I don't know.
We should make like a short list for Bachelor candidates, but
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know who they would have. Maybe,
well,
the whole breakup thing, like, and again, if the allegations hadn't come out, the allegation thing, like Jesse had said, kind of brought Bachelor Nation to liking him because the way he handled it. So
because I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't want to see him. I'm just saying that they have to go based on ratings. So
exactly,
not going to. If it's more divided, like, they're probably not going to.
Right.
So yeah, and like later when he spoke to Gabby, I mean, they just kind of had like really small clips of them talking to the women, but I just felt like what he said was really sweet, and I think Gabby, appreciated it. So
yeah, I think so too.
All good. But yeah, actually, it's also tied to some of the things that I was thinking about of the short list for Bachelor. So the Bachelor in Paradise preview.
Yes.
So yeah, it's just a lot of mayhem. Like, I can't even form an opinion on it, but
it's just really crazy, and it was really funny how, like, I love how they had I have it on my list who was out there, Genevieve, Victoria F, who else, do you have any other people? Andrew and Serene. Andrew and Serene. And so I just thought it was funny that they brought them out there, and then I talked to them for like 2 seconds, like, oh, let's show the clip. All right, thanks for like being here. Like, I don't, like, they probably could have done like, oh, here's the Bachelor in Paradise preview without having them there, because they didn't seem like they had much time. Maybe they filmed more, like you were talking about, and just cut a lot, but it just was kind of funny. And like you said, the Bachelor in Paradise, like, this preview was like just straight mayhem. So I don't know what to like really think of it, but like, it's gonna be fun to watch. It's really crazy. I'm not, like I had said to you before we started recording, I'm not really happy to see Serene again or Shanae again. And I love Serene. Sorry, Serene. But I'm not happy to see Shanae again just because like I was kind of like I had enough of her on Clayton's season.
Yeah.
And it seems like from the preview we're gonna be seeing a lot of her. So and and who was she? Oh, and it says like she was like kind of mingling with Jacob in one of the things, and she called him Tarzan. I thought that was kind of funny.
Oh my gosh. I have to say, the clips they showed of Shanae, she seemed fine. I think the biggest issue was she just, in some ways, it's a good thing we weren't doing the podcast last season because I had a lot of opinions. No,
right.
It was just extremely inappropriate, the things that she said about like a mental illness, like mental disability. And it was very bad. It was very bad. And I just don't feel like there was enough of a full circle moment later on, even like the women tell all. I mean, just the clips I've seen of her, she seemed okay in Paradise. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see.
I don't know.
There's a lot of people there. There's a lot of people from Clayton's season. I saw a lot of people from Katie's season. I saw a lot of people from Matt's season, just going back a few years. So it's like, it's going to be a huge like cast of characters, but we'll see what's going to go on.
There's also, that's what I was thinking about too with Paradise. I think there's like a theory floating around that they might be trying to like figure out if like they would want like Andrew or Justin or Michael A from Katie's season to be either bachelors or like co-bachelors. And so they were trying to see how they do in Paradise, because like sometimes they had people in Paradise and then they become, I mean, it's mostly Colton was the main one, that Colton was in Paradise and then he became the Bachelor. So that's another theory floating around, but it, like we won't even really be able to tell until we see Paradise. You know, we don't know the storyline, because I started reading some spoilers and I don't know how accurate they are, but like trying to see of like who ends up with who, and you know, I don't know about them, like if they make it to the end of the thing of Paradise with people, but I haven't looked at it in like a week or two, but so I don't know.
It's gonna be interesting. We'll have a lot to talk about it with it and probably have a lot of opinions. It'll be interesting. So next I have Jordan V next for like kind of the mental, continuing the mental. So she obviously, he was talking about this was after Gabby and Rachel had come out and had talked about I guess we can move on to that first and then I can get to Jordan, but they were just talking about how just like we've talked about how a lot of other Bachelor Nation fans and stuff like that really have liked seeing the connection and friendship that Gabby and Rachel have. I've loved that kind of aspect of the show, because you really haven't gotten to see that with any other leads. So I think this is really cool, and they just kind of affirmed that having them there for support and kind of like a sisterhood was really, really important to them, like filming Bernie and stuff like that. So I really like that. And then Jessica had asked them about the first impression rose. And obviously, Rachel gave hers to Tino, and then Gabby gave hers to Mario, and Mario was there. And it was really interesting how they both had kind of said that they both felt like they kind of did each other wrong, but again, it wasn't really. That was like really weird. I
don't remember what they were talking about happening. There was something. I think basically it seemed that Gabby kind of felt like he was still entertaining Rachel.
Right. But I didn't notice that.
They didn't air it.
They didn't air it. They must have done it. Because they didn't see any of that. He was like full on for Gabby when I saw it. But.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I think that might have been just like what they aired and what they didn't air, because like it clearly wasn't a big enough deal. But I don't know. It seemed to like kind of balance out. But yeah, I had written down about how like America's loving your friendship, and the two of them looked great when they came out. Yes. I think, we talked about, Mario, Jordan V. Jordan V is so sweet.
Oh, no, I really like him. I know a lot of people are saying like either Bachelor in Paradise for him because they want to see more of him. I feel like he'd be a good Bachelor. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's just like hard because we didn't see that much of him, but maybe he'll end up in Paradise. I feel like he might end up in Paradise.
I just thought it was so weird again. That's like we were talking about. Yeah, in hindsight, it's probably best if she sent him home when she sent him home when he knows. That's like probably the best. But at least like it just seemed like they had a really good connection on the first one-on-one. It was just so weird. Yeah, but again, he really was so sweet and just really just wanted to kind of reassure her that like I understand. Like obviously it hurt, but like I like the zero gravity date that they had. He says he's never gonna forget and everything like that. So like he had just seemed like he was so grateful to have that opportunity to get to know her, even if it was just kind of short. So I definitely really like him a lot too.
Yeah, and Rachel kind of said like, oh, well, he won't have any trouble. And I'm thinking like, does she know something that we don't know?
Does she know? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Or something? Like, I'm wondering.
I wonder.
No.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, so we'll see.
That'd be really cool if we see more of him.
Yeah, I think. All right, Mario. We talked
and then
about.
We get to Tyler. Because they talked about Logan, but then
everything else we talked about. Yeah, Tyler. What he said was sweet too.
I know it was. Yeah.
These guys. And then the bloopers.
That was really funny. I thought it was hilarious. Obviously the bloopers have kind of been shorter as of like recent seasons, but like there's a lot of funny clips. I love the one when they opened up the bloopers where they were sitting there, like the iguana in Mexico was like sitting there, and realized that was hilarious. And then I love the one where they were in the Speedo contest thing on the and they were like, all right, let's give it up for Alec, and he just fell over.
It's like, oh my gosh, they were just smelling the armpits. And then the one that everybody's loving is how Gabby was just like, sorry, I just farted Chinese food.
Yeah, that was so funny. I thought that was hilarious.
And the 2 bottles of champagne when she's like,
when she was like, remember this? Yeah, that was hilarious. Yeah, that was funny. And then so the bloopers were obviously, just as always, they were good. And then we got this like really weird like movie promo. It had like nothing to do with the show, like 20 minutes of this episode. I don't.
Oh yeah, well,
like I don't understand. Like it was fine, but like it was for this movie Bros with Billy Eichner and Luke McFarlane. Like and obviously we've had Billy Eichner on The Bachelor before. He was on Colton season.
Yes.
And I thought it was just again, I love how like they're like, okay, we're taking it back from the men tell all. Let's like this new like comedy Rose is coming out, and like it really didn't fit to what they were doing.
Yeah.
But they were talking about the movie and everything. They
just wanted to get an excuse for Meatball to dump the tomato sauce on him again, which and Gabby was like thrilled about this.
Yeah, so she was. And then Jesse Plummer was not thrilled about it.
He was like, what the heck?
Please
like,
stop.
Come on. He had to have known. I don't know. The other thing that they had like the clip of Mario and Gabby's like awkward kiss moment.
Right. Yeah, because they were playing that like dating do's and don'ts with them. And the clips they showed. Yeah.
And I think like, I don't know, I think Gabby saved it well of the part because like, I think she didn't want him to feel bad because.
Oh, I know. Because she was like, hey, come on. Don't make fun of this guy.
Like, don't make fun of this guy. Like, you know, and it was like, not for nothing. They just had that previous conversation about like, oh, I felt like you did me wrong, or maybe like something, that whole thing. And I'm like, really, you're going to throw this on top of it? But no, I think Gabby kind of was just like, well, we were sitting like this and blah, blah, blah. What, I don't know. She tried to cover it up.
I know. I yeah, for sure. And then they did like showing the Speedo date again. And then they were talking about how like, that's crazy. And then they showed obviously the meatball thing, and then he poured all over himself again, and then he tackled Billy Eichner, which I thought was really funny. It was like football time. I thought that was really funny.
Oh, so much tomato sauce. And then and the lady said they have no regrets about the process. So I mean, they do seem like they're happy with wherever they're at and with this right now. And I think the Mentola was probably only filmed like about a week ago, I would assume.
Yeah. And then we get into the finale preview in Mexico, which seems pretty crazy. And like we said, all the guys are there, plus Grandpa John, which is gonna be great. And hopefully we see Big Tony there. That'd be awesome. I'd love to see Tony. That'd be awesome. It seems crazy. It's interesting how, and they've been showing the Zach kind of promo thing since it's like week 2, so it must be big. Because he was saying, "Oh, I'm questioning everything, and I wish I would have like known and stuff like that." And he just is like all emotional talking to Jesse. Like I said, they've been showing that since like week 2, and now they're showing it again.
That's why we were concerned about Zach.
Right.
I think that's why we were concerned about Zach. I forgot. I don't know. It's just like mortifying because they show the way they're making it look is that like Zach is like freaking out, and then like obviously we know what happened with Tino, and then I don't know where Aven stands. And then they make it look like Eric is like freaking out for Gabby, and then we know that Johnny and Jason have basically said they don't really want to be, they don't know about engagement yet. So it's like, what is going to happen?
I think that's probably the thing with like right before the preview of the promo of the finale ends, Gabby, I don't know if they're editing it this way, but they're like, Jason was saying, oh, I just gotta be transparent with you, I gotta be honest. I put on down in my notes that might be the conversation that they're having, that they're teasing it to be the conversation where he says she's not ready to be engaged. And then that's where Gabby comes out and says, like, why can't he love me and stuff like that. So that might be the conversation that she has with him, where he kind of like reveals that he's not ready to be engaged when she kind of fully thinks he is. And then who was the one? It's Eric, right? Or there was one of the guys that said he wouldn't feel comfortable with one of the other with her sleeping with somebody else. Was that Eric to Gabby? I heard somebody say, I don't know who it is, but I heard somebody say like, oh, during this process, I if somebody slept with somebody else, I wouldn't be comfortable with that.
Oh wait, that was in the preview? I
Yeah,
thought that
I thought it
was
was
at the
Eric,
beginning
but-
of the whole thing.
I thought it was Eric, but I could be wrong. Yeah.
I don't remember that. I'm not saying it's not there. I just
Yeah,
blocked
yeah,
it
yeah,
out.
I
'Cause
know
I'm
a
like,
lot
I
of stuff
can't handle
happens.
this conversation again.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know.
So I don't know. There's gonna be a lot happening. They showed them all kind of having fun in Mexico, so obviously they're gonna show probably a lot of one-on-one dates and stuff like that, and then the fantasy suites, and then that's pretty much it. And then obviously they're gonna meet
Yeah.
the families. The guys are gonna meet Gabby and Rachel's family, like obviously who gets down to that point to where they actually get to meet the families. It was really interesting too, because remember how I had said last week where I had said maybe only one of them gets engaged, and then maybe Gabby like leaves with somebody, but not like they're dating and not engaged. They showed, well, last week we were talking about how they showed Jesse coming up to Rachel and saying, hey, Gabby's not coming, you're the only one here today, kind of like insinuating that like Gabby is the one that's not going to get engaged, Rachel is the one that is. But in this preview they showed both of them kind of like in their like final rows, kind of like, which I don't know what to attribute that to, but maybe we'll see what happens. There's a lot that's going to happen.
Yeah, like one's one day, one's the other day. I don't know.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, at first I had like this really funny picture in my head. It's like they both do it at the same time, and I was like, that'd be like really weird, but I'm like, thank God they wouldn't do it that way. So that makes sense if it's one day after another. And then we just end the finale or end the credits clip with Quincy in the limo entrance again, and they were talking about how that was funny. They was playing the game with the guys and talking.
Oh yeah.
He had sex and like
probably kick himself for saying that now, because I'm like, or it's fine. I think the only other comments I had were, I think there's the criticism that I'd seen about the episode, which like I do feel like I agree with it, is a lot of people just felt like there were just constantly ads for everything else. The cruise ship, the Kardashians,
the movie. Right.
I mean, Bachelor in Paradise, obviously that's like within the franchise. Like it was just like advertisements for everything else, and we didn't get to like really see the guys and talk, and the girls talking to the guys, and it was just so streamlined. And listen, I believe they said that the ratings are down, so it's like, listen, they got to make money somehow. So if this is what they're doing, this is what they're doing. Like, I think it's hard to like kind of look at it as a show versus I don't know.
Right.
Like it's a show.
Yes.
It's a show. They have to make money. And if they're not getting it on the ratings, they got to figure it out somehow, because otherwise the show doesn't exist. So that's the thing. And the other thing is, a lot of people like are complaining about just for the whole season in general, like we were promised double and we got half. And I think it's like, it is hard, because at the same time, like I totally get what they're coming from, is like, I feel like it's just, we feel like the girls, like we were supposed to get like the 2 whole journeys, and it's like we feel like we're just getting half of it compiled into this thing. I mean, part of me is just like, look, I don't care as long as they end up happy, because at the end of the day, it's about them and their journey. So as long as they felt that they got treated fairly by the production and they got the appropriate time, I think if anything, the audience members feel like we got gypped out of seeing the connections and like really understanding their relationships with the guys and the guys in general, which like is hard. And I think it's like, I don't think a lot of the guys are picking up the same number of like Instagram followers as they might have in previous seasons, because they're getting their airtime, or like it's cut more significantly. So I don't know.
I agree.
It's just an indication of how the show's doing. It's not like this is the success of the show in general. To me, success is that the leads feel like they got through the process and they were able to
have some kind of happy ending out of it.
Have some kind of happy ending, whatever it looks like. So
it was so weird though. I know, I agree. It was so weird because like with going back to like the movie thing, and even just talking about how like I could see like the cruise
Mhm.
ship thing, like because like I said, they were on the ship. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
But like with the movie, I guess the reason that they showed that was because of like Billy Eichner, because he had been on the show before. But like from what I saw when they showed it, it was like a Universal movie, which has nothing to do with ABC because ABC doesn't own like that studio. So it was really like no cross promotion. So I'm assuming it's just because Billy Eichner was on it and he had been on the show. But it was really weird, and I agree with you. And I think like we talked about this like episode 3 or 4 of our podcast, where we had said unless they have a very, very good reason to do a double lead again, I don't think they're going to do it for a while. I just
Yeah.
think there's a lot of like weird confusion that like just came about with it that I don't think they're going to try to do it again. That's
No.
I just think it's too
Oh
complicated.
no.
At least
There
right
were
now.
there were rumors that they were joking that they thought that it was going to be Greg and Andrew,
Oh,
which I think that was part of the reason why Andrew said that.
right. Yeah.
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know.
I just don't think. I don't think Bachelor Nation, like obviously we've liked the season, but I don't think we've gotten a lot out of it that we were hoping. From what
Yeah.
I've heard, a lot of people have said there's been like boring spots. There's been spots where I've been confused, where like stuff is happening and then they're not explaining
Yeah.
it. They're cutting it in half. So yeah, I that's what I think, because I don't think they're going to do a double lead again unless they have a very,
No.
very good reason for it.
No. And I think the good thing is that like Gabby and Rachel have maintained their friendship, and that was a big thing, because it's like, you know what, even with the team Rachel, team Gabby thing, I don't feel like it was like any of this really pitting them against each other.
Which was kind of a rumor at the beginning that they might do, but thank God they didn't.
Yeah, I think they just knew that they didn't want to, and I think they stuck through it to the end. And I think as long as they're happy, that's all I care about. I think that's my biggest thing, is I can't wait to see the ending and how it turns out, and I just hope I hope it works out with whatever or whoever they pick. So
yeah, because I agree. I really do think they're very high quality people. So I do really hope that they have like happy endings to the end of this, whether they're with people or not.
Yeah. And I don't know, and we'll see. And
we'll see. It's going to be interesting, like last few weeks of the season.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. All right. Do you have anything else, or
I think that's it. Like I said, it was really self-explanatory for the Men Tell All episode. Like I said, they kind of, I guess it was probably because of like these like promotions they had, because like I said, the movie promotion, and this was another thing before we close out. The funny thing with the movie promotion is like they kept Gabby and Rachel there for it, which I didn't think was really necessary because they didn't talk much to it. And I wrote down in my notes, I was like, I wonder what Gabby and Rachel are thinking about this, because I'm not sure if they knew this was going to happen, because from what I saw, the reactions they have were like, oh, okay, I guess we're going to play along with this. And then Jesse was like, hey, do you want to play a game? And they're like, okay. Like they didn't seem like they know what to do. So I thought it was like really funny that they were just going along.
I'm sure they primed them, but it's like, I don't know. It's just like, okay, like they have to just.
Okay, we'll be here for it. Yeah, I just thought that was really funny. But yeah, it was interesting. And then again, I just can't get over the whole cruise thing. I just saw like I knew it wasn't going to be anything of any impact because of how much they were hyping it up.
I know. I was just like nervous.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, what is happening?
I know. I love how we talked about maybe it's like they're finally doing the senior Bachelor, and then obviously had nothing to do.
No, I mean, I didn't think it was going to necessarily be that. I thought they were going to announce I thought they were going to announce the next Bachelor, and they were going to announce a double Bachelor of 2 of the guys from the season, because I would have been like, no, don't do it yet.
No, please, no, I know.
Don't do it yet.
So are you kind of in agreement too that you don't want to see like another double lead unless they have a good reason for it, or do you think you would want to see another one?
I don't want to see a double lead unless they have a good reason for it.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think even with Andrew and Greg, I have personally held this feeling that I don't know if Greg wants to be a lead, and I think if they did the double lead, I mean they're good friends, but I just don't know how it would work.
Yeah, me neither.
I mean, Andrew I could see being the Bachelor, but like that is TBD based on the like how Paradise goes. They were thinking it could be him and Michael A.
Oh yeah.
But like I feel like Michael A could have his own journey. I don't know.
I'm just interested to see if they're going to go with somebody from this season, a guy from this season for the lead for Bachelor next season, or if they're going to go with someone else. Because like I said, they have tons of options from like Katie's season and stuff like that. So I'm interested to see like who they end up going with. It'll be interesting.
I don't know. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. I think lots to talk about.
Yes. Oh my goodness. All right. I'll close this out.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you all for listening. Please remember to like this video, subscribe here on YouTube, and follow us on Instagram at Ballrooms and Bachelors. And our personal Instagram handles are on the bio on the Ballrooms and Bachelors Instagram page and in the end clip of the video. If you have any suggestions or things you want to see, questions, just put them in the comments or DM us on Instagram, and we will try to incorporate them into the episode. And I think we're just looking forward to starting to bring in more stuff about Dancing with the Stars and Bachelor in Paradise in the future, and getting through our first full season of one of the shows. So we've got I guess we got 2 more weeks until the finale. So
crazy.
yeah,
We're gonna have a lot of stuff planned for the finale and everything, and it's just crazy how I can't believe, like I said, that we're this far into the podcast and that the season went by this quickly too. It's just it's crazy. But yeah, a lot of exciting things to come.
So thank you for joining us,
Thank you so
and
much. We'll see you guys next week.
Yes, see you next week. Bye.
Bye.